So last week I did kind of a different video with you guys. I just showed you what one full day is like in the boatyard, but that means that I also left you without us actually having finished a project, which is kind of unusual for our videos. So today we are finishing putting the pipe on the bulwarks. Once that's done, we have to weld both sides because we haven't welded even the port side yet all the way along on the pipe because we were waiting for those backing plates that you guys saw. So we're going to try to use them and see how that works out and actually get the welding done. And I think the plan is for me to actually do that welding, which is really exciting because I've hardly done any welding on this project and I actually find it super fun. Logan has done most of the welding just because it's been easier for him to do it because he's doing a lot of the fitting and I'm doing a lot of the filming and kind of the support work, but I get to actually do it this time. Super excited. I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Our life rarely goes as planned, and this story is no different. But we are determined to rebuild our beautiful steel boat, even stronger than she was before. And we're bringing you along with us. When we left you last week, we had finished the bulwarks up until the point where we had to join two lengths of pipe together. We joined the pieces of pipe together by using a slug in between the two pieces, which helps to keep it straight and strong. We also clamped the two pieces to a straight edge, which in this case was a level and a piece of angle iron, just to make sure that they stayed straight. We wouldn't recommend using a level if you have something else, but sometimes you just have to make use of what's available.
I'll see if it stays straight when I take the clamps off.
Once the pipe was fully tacked on, it was time to move on to grinding off the bottom bulwark weld, and finally welding the length of the pipe. I tried to use the tiles on this project as well, just to cut down on the amount of welding that needed to be done. But we didn't have enough of a gap to get the penetration we needed, so they didn't work out for this application. Instead, I fully welded the pipe on both sides. I welded a few inches at a time and then left a gap before welding a few more inches, starting on the inside because the tacks were on the outside, and then moving to the outside.
We had to make some Fairleads. This is the material that we have. It is 1/2 inch 316 stainless round stock. A while back I was watching a Project Brewpeg video, of course.
Linked up here.
And I have been looking for a tubing bender for a long time, just so that I could bend tubing and pipe without kinking it, and it's way out of my price range, so I went for the homemade solution, which is this guy here.
Thanks to Damien and Project
Yes.
Brewpeg and his design.
And yeah, not quite as skookum as his, but it works good all the same. So basically, what you do is put your material on here. This is going to make our radius. So we measured up for what we needed. We found a piece of pipe, cut it, welded it on, Had to weld this guy in afterwards because I messed up. And then I took this piece of plate, cut a hole in it to fit this guy. So it has something to pivot on. And then this block goes on the outside of here and pulls it around without kinking it or making it like, it makes consistent bends so that you can make a whole loop or a circle or whatever you want to do. So basically this is how it works. Need a little bit of leverage. And it basically just pulls this guy around our piece of pipe. And what we end up with is a nice candy cane.
Perfect.
So that's what we did with a longer piece, and then we just flipped it over and hooked it on here and continued to bend the other side around. So then it ends up like this. And you just bend this guy closed in the vise and tack it. And then you can weld it. It ends up like this.
Ta-da!
So our nice stainless Fairleads. So now that that's all done, we need to start installing these.
Nice. Yeah, it'll be like almost flush with the weld.
Yeah.
Well, I have the pipe all welded on the starboard side. Whew, that was so much welding. So much. And like at a difficult angle too, because, well, I'll show you here. So there's weld underneath all of that now, all the way along. And it was really hard to get the stinger in there. So definitely not the prettiest welds, but they'll definitely do the job. The main purpose of this is just to keep water from getting in underneath and causing rust issues. So these welds will definitely do that. So while I've been welding, Logan has been working on the aft deck, discovering even more rust for us.
And this is what I found. A hole, a big rusty hole.
A big rusty hole that we have no idea why it was there because the passerelle wasn't using it. There's no reason from what we can see for that being there.
It was for a passerelle, which is a catwalk I guess they use in the Med. I don't think we're going to be using it anytime soon, so I've removed it. This is the bolt hole that was holding the center down There's another hole beside it. But yeah, it's pretty bad up to here, and same with on the underside. So we'll just cut this guy out, put a new piece in. And while I was at it, there's been all these weird little round rust bubbles everywhere, and we figured out that they are bolt holes. There was also something mounted here. You can see all the holes that have been filled with epoxy. So screw holes, bolt holes, all of this, we'll fix this up. I think we can just pad weld this, it's not very much. And we'll fill in all the bolt holes, same with here. And then these guys here have got some rust around them as well. It's all old stuff that's been filled before. So,
filled with epoxy, not welded.
Yeah, not welded, but filled with epoxy, like what you would do if a fiberglass boat rusted.
If a fiberglass boat rusted.
So I noticed that it's bubbled up along here. So I removed this door to have a better look, and it goes underneath this guy, so I have to remove that. And yeah, while we're at it, we'll just weld all of the holes closed. We have some modifications to do in the cockpit as well, because we're going to move a few things so that our lines don't snag on them, and like we keep turning lights on and off by just stepping through the cockpit. So we're gonna move our light switch panel, our engine shut off and bow thruster controls, our radio, like our outside mic, was in a really bad spot. We have some mounts that we don't use, we're going to remove them. They've all been bolted through, and just fill all of the bolted through stuff and start welding stainless onto the deck instead. Basically all of this rust has been created by drilling holes and bolting stuff through, so we're just going to not do that anymore.
Well, today is more welding and more grinding, but we are getting so close to having the bulwarks finished. It's so exciting. So the bulwarks are our last like big metal reworking project. Then it's just doing a bunch of small projects and painting. Painting's going to be a big project, but yeah, it's like, it shouldn't be as big as the bulwarks. Fingers crossed. We'll see how much fairing has to be done and what the weather does. That's the biggest thing we're fighting now, is going to be the weather when it comes to paint. So hopefully we can get it on before the weather changes and things start getting real icky outside, because we can't paint with the high humidity or low temperatures. So yeah, time to get to work. So that lip right there, that weld, that's what Logan's going to grind off. The lower one, not the one under the pipe. Well, he's going to do a little bit of work on the one under the pipe too, because it's a bit messy. Burnt through in some places, but yeah, that's the plan. And while he did that, I finished welding on the port side. So I finally finished the welding on the bulwarks, which is awesome. All we have to do now is put Fairleads in and then sandblast it and paint it, and then we are completely done the bulwarks. It was great to get so many things knocked off our list, but there are still so many more things to do. Thanks so much for watching, and an extra big shout out to our patrons for supporting us through this long list. See you next week.